What's poppin' everyone, it's Big Bad back with another video, and today's mod I'm going to show you is Tower Roulette. Randomly buffs or nerfs towers and upgrades. Has a 50% chance to be a buff or a nerf. You are purposely not told which towers are buffed or nerfed. First we're going to run it on CHIMPS Resort, the beginner map. Let's put our boy Quincy down to carry the first few rounds of CHIMPS. Okay, that attack speed's pretty low, his range is pretty bad too. These green balloons are getting by, this is not good, this man can't beat it. Then we're gonna run it on the expert map, Flooded Valley. Okay, this sub-range is absolutely insane. But first, have you created a map you're dying to show the world? Comment down below your code for your created map right now for a chance to be featured in a future video. Okay, so first I checked out a few different towers, the Boomerang, Quincy, and then the sub, and I decided to go with the sub because look at this insane range. Obviously it's one of the buff towers, you can tell by their range. And look, the damage and the attack speed definitely match. Even the pierce, I believe, is greater than normal. And so, it's very, very strong. I placed down Quincy just so he can start leveling up. Some levels he'll be strong, some levels he'll be nerfed, so we'll see how that ends up going. So then I tried to place a plutonium reactor to be cool, and it had amazing range, but then the LEDs came, and I needed to upgrade it again, and look at the range! It messed up the range, and we ended up taking our first L. So this time I end up going through a few more towers. The tack shooter first, it clearly was nerfed. Then I checked the ninja monkey, clearly nerfed. But then I wanted to go with the sniper, and it's also nerfed. Even the sniper you could tell, but not the buccaneer. The buccaneer's range is amazing right now. Clearly he's buffed. So we place him down and see that, yep, he is clearly buffed. He's popping the blues and the greens with just one shot. We put Quincy back down to start leveling him up again. He hasn't really helped us too much, but it's good to have a hero leveling up as you go on. So then I end up realizing we're gonna have to pop LEDs. We lost to it last time, but where's the best place to place this bomb shooter since it has the increased range? But I just place it to the top middle so it can hit the right side. Obviously, that's probably the best idea. Now, right here, I was super afraid to upgrade anything because they might nerf, but if you keep upgrading, eventually you'll get a buff. So I cross path and I was able to get a buff, a really, really strong buccaneer right now. The issue though is we don't have camo detection, and so I went to place some camo detection, but the village's range was not enough. So I tried to save up for jungle drums before the camos, but it did not work, and we end up taking our second L. So I go with the same strat of buccaneer and putting Quincy down, and then we put a village down early to get radar scanner and try to get jungle drums out as fast as possible, and we forget about the LEDs and lose again. So here we are with another attempt. We got to the same place, but instead I decided to put a wizard down with fireball and wall of fire. That way we can actually pop some LEDs and even camo LEDs. Obviously we're gonna have to do something about purple to some extent, but we have that. And sadly, or thankfully, I mean, the shimmer actually is buffed. And so we go with the buccaneer, which we already know is buffed. It seems like every time you restart, all the things that are buffed or nerfed are the same. But then I change it to cannon ship and it ends up getting nerfed, pretty much knocking the buccaneer out of the game. And same with monkey pirates. So this buccaneer is pretty much finished unless the wizard or the pirate lord is able to buff him, which we also have to save up for. So this ended up looking like a really bad situation. The Moab is coming, and it makes me a little nervous. I end up seeing, how can I buff these? And the Alchemist has a giant range, but obviously that's not going to help until we upgrade it. Hopefully it's enough. And with a 3-2 path, it ends up having enough range. And we did beat the Moab before that, which is good. So then I want to do the Necromancer, because obviously at some point we're going to need more pops than what we have at the moment. So I'm like, okay, what do we need to do? We need to get the Necromancer, but this is a huge, huge risk. But we're doing good up until then. So Necromancer unpopped army, it's time to try it out. But as you can see, it ends up being a nerfed tower. So we are either close to as weak as we just were, or possibly even weaker. I don't know. We have two towers, the buccaneer and the wizard, our main damage dealers that cannot attack much. So they end up surviving for a while, and I realized, wait a minute, we can put down the super monkey. The super monkey we saw is buffed. So the super monkey's going off right now. Obviously, it's going to need some camo detection, so we put on Ultra Vision, which is not buffed, but then we go the middle path to give it the range, and it ends up being buffed and can cover the whole map, and ends up being a very strong asset for us at the moment. So we last a little bit longer, and I'm thinking, we're saving up a good amount of money, we might as well upgrade something else. Let's do Prince of Darkness, and luckily this one is buffed. From here, I felt like if we lose this one, we definitely are sad, because this is not just a tier 5 wizard, it is extremely buffed. Look at all of those zombies, what can possibly get past that? But as this is going on, I'm thinking, what is the next thing I want to buff? So I do the Super Monkey 2 times. I go from a 1-2 to a 2-3, and it ends up being nerfed. Yeah, so we are in a very bad situation, other than our Wizard Monkey who's carrying. So I'm waiting for us to get the Dark Champion, and luckily this thing is buffed, and that pretty much seals the deal that we are going to end up winning this one. At this point, I had no more stress on my back, and here comes the bad for us to take it down. Look at Quincy's arrows, pathetic. You see his range was low, so Quincy is very nerfed right now. And we have our Monkey Pirates, but we still have the ability for it, which helped a little. But either way, we won that very easily. So then we go into the next map, Flooded Valley, and place down a sub, which has extreme range. Luckily, we start off with it buffed, so that's very good for us. And we switched out the hero to actually be Brickle. I put down a second sub, and with these 2 subs, it covers the whole map, which is completely broken. We end up saving for Brickle. I put her down to get her level up started, and things are looking real nice and easy. This is an easy start for us. I end up putting a 3rd sub down, and I'm thinking we need to get some camo detection, so let's start on that. Hopefully it has long range. If it doesn't, we are going to be screwed. And so I started the leveling up, and actually Advanced Intel works out. So Advanced Intel is going to be broken for a while, but we do need that submergence support, so we end up checking to see if it ends up having the range we need, which it does not, but no fear, we then get barbed darts, and then it gives us the range. So every time you upgrade, it could buff it or could nerf it. So I end up putting a second one and having the whole map camo detected, but there's one thing I forgot. And so then I placed the same things down, put heat tip darts to get rid of leads, but there's another thing I end up forgetting. Same L that we took in the last map, no camo detection. So this one I was determined to win. We got heat tip darts, we got camo detection, we have 2 subs outside of the camo detection, and we have Brickle down. Things are looking much better on this start. I even get camo detection started for the rest of the map, and then we end up being completely good. The first camo round went by, we did it fine. The first lead round went by, we did it fine. So then I put a Buccaneer, hoping that it ends up being good. Now double shot and grape shot is very good, and luckily, or actually I was gonna say luckily hot shot was, but actually it was trash. The hot shot ended up making it nerfed, so we end up having to save up. I figured the better thing to do is save up for a destroyer, because if that's buffed, that will be very powerful. If it's not, we might lose to the Moab. And luckily, it is buffed. Just in time for the Moab round. It is round 39, and as you can tell, this destroys the round very easily. Here comes the Moab, and we take the dub. So then, what I end up doing is getting a second destroyer, because I figure the first one's so good, might as well have a second and have really good cleanup. Now, obviously, throughout this, I'm very nervous because, first, I went a plutonium reactor, which ended up being nerfed. Even with the heat tip darts, it was nerfed. But luckily, we saved up enough money so that I could put more camo detection for that whole side of the map that now is not covered because of the nerfed sub. But I was pretty nervous in this whole thing because I don't know how buffed these things really are and how they end up working. So I end up putting another Buccaneer down, and I'm figuring I might as well mix things up a little and go the cannon ship on this one, which right now seems good, but then I had to do faster shooting and double shot, and it's still good, luckily. So that's nice. But then I figured the aircraft carrier. the aircraft carrier ends up being buffed. I figured we might as well go with that because we need some variety. We need hard-hitting towers, so we go with the second aircraft carrier as well. This was I was mostly nervous. We were doing really well, but the aircraft carriers ended up working out even better, so that's good. So then I figured might as well try the AP darts. If the AP darts are fine, then we're gonna win. So advanced intel with triple guns seems really good, but that made me nervous because it might get nerfed on the last upgrade that we need, which is the AP darts. So we get them, and luckily it is not nerfed. From here, I figured we're probably gonna win. So then I place about 3 more subs down, and actually end up placing a 4th, and we get pretty OP at this point. This will last us for most of the game. At least I thought so, and I ended up being right. We're on round 75, and we ended up going all the way to 82 before I put down a few more boats just to be on the safe side, and we're looking really good. The one thing I'm thinking in my head is, can these all beat the DDTs, and can they beat the B.A.D? Those were my 2 biggest worries, and especially the round 95 DDTs and the fortified ones. That was my biggest worry, so I try to rack my brain to think of a tower that could hit everything since this is Flooded Valley. Obviously, we can only do water towers, sniper, global range type of things. So I figured, outside of the sniper, what is something that has global range and outside of the mortar? So then I thought, well, the monkey ace could hit them if it's buffed, and I want to go the bottom path because I really like the bottom path. And never miss targeting, and lots more darts is actually nerfed. You could tell by the range on the airplane it was much smaller than it's supposed to be. So this thing is nerfed, and I'm just hoping that by Spectre it ends up being buffed. Because if it's not, we might lose. If it is, we definitely win this. So from here, we're doing pretty good. The ZOMGs got destroyed. It's round 95, which is something I was very worried about, and so I slowed things down just to make sure. But it seems like we end up being good, and we're very close to the Spectre. One thing I did is I activated Brickle's ability just to make sure we were fine, and then I bought Spectre, and luckily it ends up being buffed, pretty much sealing our fate that we win this. But I was still nervous. We still have round 98, 99, and 100 to go, which all 3 rounds are very hard, obviously. But so far, our towers are doing really good. From here, I was too afraid to really speed things up, and I end up spending all the rest of my money that I could in order to get some more damage output out. So we save up for another aircraft carrier, and I believe that's the last thing I end up placing down, kind of out of negligence. I should have placed more down just to be on the safe side, but it's round 98. We beat 98. Here comes 99, and this made me nervous. Look at how far those DDTs are getting. So I activate Brickle's ability, and it ends up destroying them. But now we don't have the ability for the B.A.D. Hopefully it's still active, and it looks like it is. And we are really damaging this B.A.D. very fast. I was just worried maybe the DDTs will pull one on us, but it doesn't. The ZOMGs get destroyed, and then the BFBs, and then the Moabs. And we end up beating this map. So that was the video. I hope you guys like it. Please subscribe and leave a like, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And try out the mod for yourselves. Bye!